Watch the alignment of the lower body during this squat. This is my patient Sean, who had been dealing with right hip issues for years during his squat. 1 hour into our evaluation, and you can see some pretty big changes. Now much more aligned with his technique, and he no longer had any pain.
Did you have any pain at all?
None.
And how long have you been dealing with this issue in your squat?
Years. Over 10 years, easy.
Today I'm going to walk you through the process of evaluating and finding the right treatment plan for his body. I started by looking at his ankle joint with the 5-inch closed chain test. You can see he could easily touch the bed with his left leg, however came up a few fingers short on his right side. Next, I looked at his tibial rotation.
Slide it in just as far as it can go without that knee. Very good.
Well, the knee stays straight.
Knee stays straight, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, now same thing on your other side. Okay.
That's about,
Just a bit of a difference, we can say.
I feel like it's like really tight right here.
Exactly. Okay, so this is tibial internal rotation. We just found one big difference, okay? We're going to remember that. We're going to come back to it.
Okay.
Following, I looked at his hip internal rotation. You can see his left hip has a ton of motion, while his right hip was restricted. When assessing his Faber test, notice how far his left leg could externally rotate and extend, while he was nowhere close to the same amount of motion on his right. So far, we had a pain complaint in the right hip with underlying side-to-side differences in hip and ankle complex mobility. Now comes the crucial step in the evaluation process, the test and retest method. Listen in to our first drill.
So we found that your tibia would not rotate in as much as the other side. That was looking at tibial internal rotation. When you go into a squat, your tibia internally rotates and tips to the side, while your femur externally rotates. So if you have a different side to side, it will affect your joints all the way back up.
Right.
So I don't need a ton of tibial rotation, but I want to have as much symmetry as possible. Okay? So here's a drill that you're going to do to help program in that amount of motion.
Okay.
This band is going to be trapped underneath the base of your big toe. Smash it down. Okay? That's that tripod foot. Heel, base of the first toe, base of the fifth toe, all equal pressure.
Okay.
Now you're going to grab the band and you're going to apply a little bit of pressure. Don't let that tripod up, okay? So off, hold. Now, open your hips by squeezing your glute. Good, so you're driving your knee out to the side as hard as you can by squeezing the glute. Does that feel okay?
Yeah.
Okay, 5-second hold. Your glute eventually should start shaking because it's so fatigued from opening the hip. And then relax the knee back in, relax the band, okay? So you're not necessarily improving joint mobility, we're not stretching. We're teaching your body how to move in this exact sequence to get internal rotation of the tibia, external rotation of the femur. We're teaching your body that bottom squat position. Does that make sense? I want 10 of these right now for 5 seconds. So smash the band down, tension, open the hip. Squeeze the glute, that glute should be on fire. Feel it? Okay. 5 seconds, and then relax. Okay, 10 total reps.
I'm already tired.
Yeah. This isn't your grandma's PT.
Next, we worked on ankle mobility with the banded joint mobilization.
Am I in between it?
Yep.
Okay.
So foot up on the box, okay, and then down on a knee. Now, this band is going to be placed on the top of your foot, pulling down on a bone called your talus bone. Okay, get all your weight on this foot, okay, so that box doesn't fall back. Now from here, drive that knee forward as far as you can. Yep. Good. Does that take away sort of a pinch or block sensation in the front of the ankle? How does that feel?
It feels fine.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, and come back. Okay, and don't pull off all the way. You are going to do 10 reps like this. Now, here's the idea. The bone right here, your talus bone, as your leg comes forward, moves backwards.
Okay.
The tibia, your shin bone, moves this way. So this band is here to assist in that natural gliding of what happens at your ankle joint during a squat. Okay. So drive that knee forward as far as you can. Very good. Now, see how your hips are swiveling? Keep your hips square. There you go. Drive that knee out to the side this way a little more. There you go. Does that feel okay?
Upon retesting, you can see a good change in his right ankle, now only 1 finger away from the edge. And tibial rotation was also improved as well. Now, it's still not the same as the other side, so keep that in mind for later in this video. Next, it was time to work on the hips. With the restricted Faber test, I used the kettlebell weight shift.
You're going to put your foot right here.
I think everybody should get that.
Okay, now I want you to turn that back foot in towards me. Very good. Grab the weight. The weight is there to keep your chest upright. Okay. Now from here, what I want you to do is open this hip by squeezing your glute. Now, shift your body towards me. Keep your chest upright. You won't be able to go very far. Do you feel a good stretch in your groin?
Mm-hmm.
Very good. 5 seconds, and then back. Okay. Keep those hips forward. Don't hinge backwards. Okay. Chest on, chest on. You won't be able to go very far with this.
I see.
Yeah, there you go. So it's hip open. Very good.
5 years.
Does that feel okay?
Yeah.
Okay. I want you to do right now 6 of those for a 10-second hold. Or 5 seconds. 5 seconds. Okay, so it's open the hip, and then shift over.
Upon retesting, you can see some big changes, now even with the other side. For the restricted hip internal rotation, I had him try a banded joint mobilization.
You're going to get a lot of tension on this band.
Okay.
A lot of tension, so it's almost going to pull you over. Pulling laterally. Now from here, there's 2 things you're going to work on. The first one is to drive in. Okay? This is that hip internal rotated position that you were stiff in before.
Right.
If this is in enough tension, this should not reproduce like a pinch or anything in the front side of the hip.
Okay.
You're going to hold this for 5 seconds, try to relax your hip muscles as much as possible. Then, hand down, drive the knee out to the side, squeeze your glute.
Okay.
So you're going to get 2 positions. You're going to be driving into internal rotation, relaxing the hip, drive out to the side, squeeze your glutes. Okay, we're going to do 6 of those. Drive your right knee in. There you go. Try to relax those muscles as much as possible. Does that reproduce a pinching pain in the front of your hip at all? Good. Now drive your knee out to the side. Now don't turn your toe out. Keep your toe straight forward. Good. Now squeeze your glute as hard as you can. Does that feel okay?
Yeah.
Can you go back and forth like that 6 times? So drive in.
So this one I'm pushing with the hands.
Yes, and I want you to take like 2 deep breaths. Try to relax as much as possible there.
Again, upon retesting, huge changes. So now that we have addressed underlying problems with our joint-by-joint approach, it was time to reintegrate this newfound motion into the problem squat pattern. During his first few reps, after getting back under the bar again, his alignment was already a little better than before, but I could still see his leg wasn't opening as much on the right side as compared to the left, even with some verbal cueing. So I tried another screen. Listen into it.
Now from right there, okay, take your hand, grab this. Now drive that knee out to the side as far as you can, but don't let that foot come up. So you can see how much that knee can open with the foot still staying flat. Now do the same thing on your other side. Now drive that knee open. Doesn't want to nearly open as far. So what I want you to do is we're just going to do a couple mobilizations. I want you just to grab like that. This is your self-mobilization. Basically, you're going to jam that foot down like this and then just open as far as you can. Just try to pry that hip open.
Can I push it out?
Yeah. Very good. And then back, just try to keep that foot from sliding at all. Because right now, that ankle and foot doesn't want to just open. So we've worked on the front and back, but we haven't worked on the rotation and the lateral glide. So again, as you squat down, your shin internally rotates, but tips on its side. And we saw that you had an issue. As you squatted down, your shin stayed vertical, or almost in. It wouldn't shift out to the side. So we're having an issue in tibial glide as well. Does that make sense? Okay, so get your normal squat stance down here. Okay, from right there. So before you even start, open your knees up. Open your hips. Good. And what you're thinking about is this big toe is staying down, but you're opening your pelvis as far as you can. This knee will shift over to the side. This tibia will shift over. Does that make sense? Okay, go into your half squat again. So squat down, open as far as you can, as far as you can. There you go. Look how far over you're getting your knee. Does that feel different? It should feel like you're almost opening your pelvis so that you can sit down in between. Does that make sense? So now your femur is not into your chest, it's on the outside of your chest. Does that make sense? Okay. Open that right hip before you start. Good. Just focus on that right one. Yes. There you go. Perfect. That was the best looking one, I think. Any pain at all in the hip? Felt strong?
Yeah.
Felt symmetrical. And how long have you been dealing with this issue in your squat?
Over 10 years, easy.
And you have not found a solution to fixing this hip issue in the squat.
Right.
And you've tried massage,
Yeah.
tried soft tissue work.
I went to a physical therapist in my hometown, or not hometown, but where I currently live.
Yeah.
All kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
So.
And just, this is, and again, it's not a miracle, right?
Right.
We're literally just breaking down the body
Right.
and finding what are the side-to-side differences.
Right.
Ankle mobility, tibial rotation, tibial lean,
Right.
hip, external rotation and internal rotation. We're off on both sides, meaning it's probably more of a joint issue than soft tissue.
Right.
And then test, retest.
Right.
One of my favorite quotes is, I'm not a scientist, but I am a researcher.
Right.
And my method for testing is the test and retest method.
Right.
Because I can show you in one session whether or not we're on the right track. Now, will it take a while to build back up capacity to be able to get and really express your true strength without having any compensations? Yes, because I could still see that you had a little bit of shifting in that knee, just a little bit, but it was so much more symmetrical and it was pain-free.
Right. I'll have to keep working on it and see if my goal is to do this stuff and see if I can't put it together and then make my squat go up much further than it currently
Exactly.
is. That's my goal. So.
Exactly. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, cool, man.
Good.
A few months later, I checked in on Sean and he's continuing to progress without any pain. Keep up the good work, man.
They say that energy flows where attention goes, so I pay no mind. Why waste my time with all these negative cats scratching? So caught up in their egos, these people have lost.